Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with random reviews of books from the Overflow Room Annex. And today we're talking about, I've got like a strange collection of things that I've randomly selected. First, from 1902, The Life of Liszt. Yeah. See, I wrote a scholarly paper on Liszt at one point that I presented in Italy at a symposium there, actually on vibrato and Liszt's keyboard music. It was very, very interesting. But in order to prepare for some of these things, I did a lot of research and a lot of reading. And one of the fun things was to look into popular biographies, that were written around the time that the person in question existed. So this Life of Liszt dates from 1902. It's by Ludwig Noll and George P. Upton. And I mean, it's not terribly, it's in, small, large print and small pages. So it goes very quickly. But this is so much fun. This is just so much fun. Let's talk about, let's see what we have here. Let's see, Siegfried. Let's see, you do with a Siegfried. You just open up every single page and you find fun comments. Liszt is as unprecedented and unapproachable in his playing as he is unparalleled and original in his style. They are his own possessions. In both, we feel the same genial inclinations, but even in the highest flights of his inspirations, he never mars their beauty. If one were to find any fault, it would only be with the exuberance of thought and the riotous luxuriance of his fancy, which is inexhaustible in pictures and blending of color. There is only the natural result of the this is only the natural result of the abundant richness of his surroundings. When Englishmen and Germans, in their statements about music, especially where Beethoven is concerned, complain of the obscurity and mystery of his meaning, it is because music in its real form is still a book with 7 seals to them. So what is he talking about? Where does Liszt come into it? Anyway, the bottom line is these are fun to read. They really are. They make great bathroom reading. Put them on the toilet tank, and when you're sitting there looking for something to do, you pull this out, Life of Liszt. It just helps you go. It's terrific. Then I've got a couple discs of harp music. Harp music in the 19th century by Hans Joachim Zingel, translated and edited by Mark Palkovic. It makes a wealth of information on a vital period in the development of the harp. In the early 19th century, Erard perfected the double action mechanism, which allowed the harp to be played in all keys. Virtuosos of the period were quick to exploit the lush harmonic modulations and new tone colors now possible. It's very, very interesting. I mean, I got fascinated by instrumental technique, again, when I was, working on studying, vibrato, because what you find is that every single instrument is supposed to imitate the human voice. And I mean, that's the basis of instrumental music. And they all had to come to grips with the fact that the natural human singing voice always has a level of vibrato. And the more similar instruments could be to the human voice, the more emotionally expressive and effective they sounded. So believe it or not, the harp, the good old harp in the early 19th century had a vibrato mechanism. Modern harps have 7 pedals, but the harps, the new harps in those days, the 1810s and 15s and 20s, had 8. And the 8th pedal opened up a louver that was similar to the tremolo in an organ. And you could wiggle this pedal, and this thing would open and close, wagga, 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 and make harp vibrato. Can you believe such a thing? And I've seen harps. I actually visited a museum of historical instruments and saw these pedal harps that had the famous 8th pedal attachment, which was really, really interesting. So there's that one. And then the harp, its history, technique, and repertoire by Rosalind Wrench. There it is. So that's kind of cool. And this also has just amazing, amazing amounts of information. And even if you don't, care about like vibrato, and I don't blame you if you don't, because it's like, really, how obscure can we be? It's fascinating to look at what happened with these instruments. The harp was an enormously popular instrument in the 19th century, and there was a tremendous amount of repertoire written for it, not just transcriptions, but all kinds of other things as well. And, oh, wow. I just had so much fun going through these things, learning about harp writing, organ writing, all of these things. It's just so much to know, so much that's just fascinating. Wind technique, everything. Anyway, I just got so interested in all of that. Then we finish this little tiny chatlet with a classic, a major classic, Charles Rosen's The Classical Style, Haydn, Mozart, and Beethoven. I mean, if there is a 20th century masterpiece on sort of music history, I mean, this has got to be one of them. It really is. It's an extraordinary book. It won all kinds of awards. It's really fabulous. It was a book that brought a lot of relatively unknown Haydn to light, particularly the piano trios. And Rosen is brilliant. I mean, he's just brilliant. He's also kind of obnoxious in places. He makes these sweeping statements, paradigmatic statements, which may or may not be true, but he says them with such conviction that, for a moment we go with him. You know what I mean? But it is a wonderful, wonderful discussion of the style of music in the classical period, and still an absolute classic. It's in the field, and I have like a couple copies of it. It was reissued and revised and whatever. That's the old one I got. I first read it when I was in, I don't know, I was in high school, I think. I must have been in like 7th or 8th grade. It had just come out. It was published, wait a minute. Let me see. It won 1972. Okay. National Book Award for Arts and Letters. So, yeah, I was 12 when I first got my hands on it. So I was in like 8th grade. And it was fantastic bathroom reading. Speaking of bathrooms and places to read this stuff. On the toilet, it cannot be beat. I'm serious. Just be honest about it. It's a fabulous place to acquire knowledge while you're losing other things. So keep on listening, friends. Thanks so much for joining me. Take care.